Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and we have a brand new breakdown for today. It's going to be on Mujinga Kambundji, and we're going to start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Perform Side.
Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so Mujinga Kambundji ended up winning the 60-meter World Championships just a couple weeks ago, or maybe about a week ago, actually. And, big thing was she was able to beat some really, top-level people. Everybody, going into it, she was kind of underrated, right? With somebody that wasn't supposed to, necessarily do as good as she did. Ended up beating the 7-second marks, which is always, an excellent mark to be able to beat here. And I always love watching the, women, just because, for one thing, they have, a lot of times there's some different, kind of fundamentals that do out of the blocks. We could see, some of these women here have different positions in their body, right? A lot of times with the, men, most of the guys are in about the same spot here. But we could see a lot of differences within, the women. And it seems to me like they do such a great job of being able to get almost immediately to top speed. You could see, Kambundji did a great job here at reacting to the gun, right? Probably had the best reaction overall. And we'll go and look to see, how much time she's bringing on the gun. She didn't really take very much distance, with that first step. Look at how fast she got that front foot down onto the ground, right? There's really nobody else that has their front foot down nearly as quickly. She got it down at 3.367 and is right back off by 5.3, right? Oh, 5.3. So she's at that 0.17 with that foot, and then that next foot hits the ground. It's already on the ground there, even somewhere in there. We'll just say 3.6, right? So 0.07 from when that foot left the ground, the front foot left the ground. Right, that left foot leaves the ground, and then that right foot hits the ground, even probably before that, 5.8 or something like that, somewhere between probably 0.05 and 0.07, right? Just to give you an idea of how fast that second foot wants to get down. Because sometimes I'll see people really try to reach with that second foot and spend a lot of time off the ground when, a lot of these top athletes, and it's a little bit different, obviously, for when you're getting out of the blocks in comparison to like a 40 start. But, it's interesting to see how fast they get the feet right back down and how good of a job they do of just being able to drive that foot right through. There's no, well, not everybody here, but you can see for Kambundji, she does a great job of bringing that foot right through. Doesn't have a lot of extra wasted time trying to lift that foot back up, right? That ends up making a big difference, right? Making it so you can get a lot more distance here. Like this woman in lane 7 is really not doing great with her fundamentals here with her start and lifting that foot way up behind her, and she ends up really struggling to get into her top speed. She might be better like the 100 or the 200, but definitely doesn't have the start to be able to compete with some of these women, because they're immediately getting into their top speed, right? Immediately able to get to a position where they are really mastering the drive phase, and that ends up being an important part of being able to run the 60 or the 100 is how effectively can you get into that drive phase, and how well are you able to actually do or accomplish your drive phase, right? Which means just being able to slowly lift up the spine, be able to slowly start to be able to get those feet back up in front of you, be able to transition into the front side mechanics, where now we're going to be pulling that foot back behind, right? And doing that in a way that allows us to, effectively reach the top speed. Because I think a lot of people make the mistake of, almost focusing so much on the start mechanics that you're really not able to, properly transition from that start to your drive to your top end speed. The idea of really being able to master that start is to be able to then effectively transition into that drive in your top end speed. So make sure that you're really aware of how you're going to be able to do that. Don't get too caught up in the start where then you're not able to do, your drive phase or your top end speed phase, because that ends up really making a big difference in terms of just overall development of your top end speed mechanics, right? How you get to top speed is really important, right? It's something that you want to practice too. Okay, and you can see Kambundji just, what a great top end speed. Now, now we'll go and take a look at this real quick. I just want to see that right leg, how much time she's spending on the ground. 8.367. and then 0.43, right? The women just always have such great turnover, such great foot contact time, such great stability, even though, even for being really strong. And you can see some of the timing things, right? You can see when her foot's hitting the ground, this knee is out in front of, the ground contact knee. You could also see what she's doing with her hands and being able to really pull that pinky back, right? She's also very quick at being able to transition off the ground and then immediately drive the arms back and through and drive the opposite arm down, right? So her rhythm and her timing is so good here. And she does have a good amount of rotation going on, right? She's not reaching those hands too high. She's really more rotating within that upper body to really utilize that transverse plane and really be able to master, rotation overall. So, a lot of the things that we've been talking about here for a while now. And I think it's just effective to be able to see this from a wide variety of different views, right? Women are going to be a little bit faster with their foot contact time, right? So, this helps you as athlete or even as a coach, because now you know what to coach. I know when I'm teaching women, they're not going to be able to pick up as much distance per step, right? The big difference in time that women have compared to men has a lot to do with the distance per step. Well, what makes it so there is a difference between the distance per step, how much force you're able to generate in the ground. And that ends up being, the big difference between the, men and women athletes, right? Men are able to, just kind of naturally have a higher peak for what their most amount of force that they could generate into the ground is. Have the ability to have more strength that they could build into their muscles can get bigger, they're able to generate more power. And this is, not obviously for every guy or every woman, but just typically within, like the track and field, the tops of the men track and field and the women track and field, the men are going to be able to generate more force in the ground, right? And so because of that, they're not going to have to take as many steps, right? That makes a big difference in terms of the time. But even though they're able to, pick up more distance, what's going to be the difference, right? What's going to be the carryover? Well, women are going to, have a little bit less time spent on the ground. Men spend more time on the ground. They're putting more force in the ground. Their body has to absorb. Now it's, 1 or 2 hundredths of a second, right? So it's barely even any time that we could even, almost comprehend from a, moment-to-moment perspective. But, from what the actual video shows us, that there is a difference, right? There is a difference between how men absorb force in comparison to how women absorb force. And really, women do it more effectively. And so when we're training, we want to be able to think about that when we're teaching the women, is how can they absorb force faster to be able to transition off the ground faster? Because that, at the end of the day, ends up being an important part for them to be able to be, successful overall. So, as always, super interesting to be able to get like a comparison of, women in comparison to men and utilize that information to be able to hopefully help you guys out in being able to develop overall. So as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're always putting out videos just like this, help you understand mechanics better, help make it so you could be a more effective athlete, a better coach, and just have an overall more information about how to be able to run fast at a high level. So thanks for watching. Check the description as well down below to find out some of the programs, the breakdowns, all those types of things that we have available for you. And we'll talk to you soon.